Hey everyone, Coach Runk here. We're about halfway through our season schedule, and with three teams at the fourth grade level, we have played everyone on our schedule already, and we're going to play them several more times to finish the season. So we're at the point where we need to put in a new play because the teams that we're playing know what's coming as soon as we call it out. The kids, the coaches, they're all calling out the screens and the cuts before we can even make them. So we've got a new play. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the play diagrammer and give you all the different options and reads within it. Let's go look at it. So we call this play Motion Toledo on our team. If you're just some rando watching this channel, you can call it anything you want. I like to give the plays something that the kids can latch onto and understand that's a little bit different. We don't want to just go with 1, 2, 3, 4 because they'll forget which one's which. So Motion Toledo, this starts as a simple 5-out offense. We've got our primary ball handler here with the ball coming down the court, and usually our secondary ball handlers here in the corners, with down screens being set by our two wing players on our 2 and 3 players. So they're both popping up to the wings. The point guard is picking a side to go to. It doesn't matter. You could go to either side. First thing they're going to do is they're going to make a pass to either one of these players cutting up to the wing. This is where the fun part starts. So that was the first action of the play. We make the pass to the wing. Now the second action of the play. This is where we actually can get to our scoring part of the play. And it's pretty simple. As soon as number 3 catches the ball, he's going to turn facing the point guard who just passed him the ball, because the point guard is going to be cutting right behind that ball. As soon as he makes that pass, he's running right behind it. And he's going to cut right behind the player with the ball. The player with the ball then has the option to either toss him the ball as he comes around him, or he can fake that toss, turn, and go the other direction to the hoop. So let's talk about the two reads on this play. Here's read number 1. Read number 1, option number 1 is to pitch this ball back to the point guard. Well, what needs to happen in order for that to be the right read on this play? Well, you're looking at two things, and it's both of the defenders that I have drawn up on the screen there. You've got defender number 1 who's guarding the point guard, and you've got defender number 3 that is guarding player number 3 here, okay? What do we need to see from those two defenders in order to make this pitch back to the point guard? Well, first thing you want to see is you want to see the point guard's defender trailing the point guard. So as the point guard makes that pass and he cuts back towards number 3 directly at the ball, if his defender gets a little bit behind, then that's the first thing you need to see in order to make that pitch. If he's behind him, you can give that ball back to him and he can beat him to the hoop, right? Second thing you want to see is you want to see defender number 3 that's now guarding the ball as he's making this pitch. You want to see him guarding the ball. If he's cheating around that ball, if he's cheating around and he has eyes on number 1 and he's trying to shuffle out in order to cut that pitch off, then you probably don't want to make that pitch. But if he's standing right behind number 3 and he's guarding the ball and he doesn't really have eyes on number 1, then you want to make that pitch. So those two things combined, if you see both of those things, then make that pitch. Point guard cuts around to the hoop. Easy score. Second read is the keeper read. What are we looking for in this on the defenders? Well, it's the opposite of what we just talked about on the first one. So if both of those defenders, or even just one of them, is cheating really hard on that handoff or on that pitch to the point guard, well then you want to fake that pitch, make it a convincing fake. If I back up enough where you can make that fake without actually releasing the ball. So, do this motion and then turn and go to the basket with it. If you could do that as those defenders are cheating hard on the point guard, both of them are going to lunge towards that point guard, you'll find, and you'll have an open path to the basket. So what does that look like? Again, number 3's defender, if he's hedging around, if you're standing there with the ball as the player with the ball ready to make that pitch, and you've got your head turned either direction, and you see your defender start to move, in this case, towards your left to where that pitch is going. If you see them move in that direction, that's when you want to fake that pitch and go the other way. Same thing, if you see number 1's defender, if he's, again, trailing, or if he cheats it behind and he's trying to catch up with the point guard and cut him off to the basket, that's another scenario where you can fake it and go. So let's talk now about some keys to success and some problem points that you can see with this play, things that'll really blow it up if you don't do it right. So first thing is, you want to catch this pass as high up on this wing as you can. I've got shown here the pass only getting not even to free throw line extended. So here's the free throw line extended, meaning extending it across the page. If he doesn't even make it that far up, we don't have really room to make this handoff or this pitch. And even if he does manage to get it right here, let's say he pitches it to number one in this scenario, and number one tries to then go to the hoop. Well, now you've got a mass of defenders. Number five's defender even is in the play now. Number three's defender doesn't have much room he has to make up in order to squeeze you to the sideline. You just don't have enough room to operate. So this play really needs to be designed. It needs to be run with number three catching or number two catching this ball way up here, way past free throw line extended, so that as this handoff or this pitch is made, you've got enough room coming around it that you can go to the basket with it and you have room to kind of operate and shake a defender if you need to. There's key number one. Second key to success on this play is to at least fake this pitch. Even if you plan on keeping it, let's say you catch this pass and you feel the defenders are in the wrong spot, you have to at least fake that pitch. When we ran this at practice the other day, a few kids caught that ball, saw the player circling around him, and decided, I'm keeping this, and they just turned and ran with the ball. And they didn't even try to fake that pitch. Well, what happens is the defense isn't caught off guard at all by that, and they're able to cut it off easily. So second key to success, you have got to fake that pitch, even if you're planning on keeping the ball. Third key to success, you have to mix it up. You cannot always pitch it back to the point guard, and you cannot always keep the ball. The defense is going to be smart enough to figure one of those things out, and they're going to jump on it every single time if you continue to do the same thing over and over again. That means that if you have a point guard that's really good and you want to get the ball back to him, you got to mix it up sometimes and keep it and go to the hole with it. Or if you're one of those players who feels like, I only get 3 chances a game to touch the ball, I'm keeping it every time I touch it off this play. Well, probably not the best team concept, because you do it the first 2 times, the third time the defense is going to jump on it. You're probably going to turn the ball over. So you have to mix it up. Last key, and this one really applies to any time you touch the ball in basketball, you have to relax. Okay? Getting the basketball, I get it. It's adrenaline pumping. You have all these options you could do with it. Everybody's staring at you. The defense is keying in on you. The crowd's looking at you. But you've got to take a deep breath and relax. You can't forget the play. I've seen a number of times on this play and other plays where the player catches the ball and immediately loses their mind on what their different options are. And all they can think of is they need to put the ball on the floor and they need to dribble with it as fast and hard as they can in whichever direction they're pointed. That might mean that they're dribbling straight at the sideline. It might mean that they're dribbling towards half court. Maybe they get lucky and they're dribbling at the basket. But the point is that they got overwhelmed by the moment and by touching the basketball, and they did the exact wrong thing. So on this play, when you catch this ball, you got to remember, I got to at least wait for this point guard to come over so that I can make this fake pitch at least before I take off with it. I can't just catch it and put the ball on the ground immediately and start dribbling with it. And I can't catch it and put the ball on the floor and remember, oh crap, I wasn't supposed to dribble right away and then pick it up, because guess what? Once you do that, now your only option is to pitch it. You can't dribble with the ball anymore and go to the hoop. So you've got to relax. Catch that ball, wait for the point guard to get to you, and then make the play. Either pitch it or dribble it. Relax. Breathe. This won't be the last time you touch a basketball, and you got to remember to breathe. Bonus tip. Never get so caught up in the way that the play is drawn that you can't think creatively for yourself and do something outside of what the play is structured to do. I've got drawn up on the screen here. What happens if you run this play a number of times and the whole defense starts to cheat in on the play? They see it's a 2-man game and you call it out for the 4th time, and all of a sudden everybody starts to creep in. Well, this is when you hit them with something that they really aren't going to expect, and that's, there's 3 other players on the floor that are still out there playing basketball. So if these other players start to cheat in, like let's say number 4 has his eyes on the ball and he starts to cheat in towards that play and he wants to cut it off and be the hero of the day, well, this player in the corner here, number 4, he ought to just cut to the basket. Number 3 needs to see it, or number 4 at least needs to call loud enough for it. Then number 3 can turn and make that pass to number 4. Get a bucket off of it that way. Why not? I cannot stress enough that you call a play enough times, the other team is going to figure it out. You have to be able to be creative within these plays to take advantage of the stuff that the defense is doing. So again, last tip, Don't get hung up on the actual play itself and the way it's drawn. Be creative with it. Discover ways to beat the defense if they start to cheat on your plays.